So when you're a window cleaner, you know, you've got a lot of customers to chase up. It can be a bit of a headache sometimes collecting the money. So I'm just going to show you, talk a little bit about invoicing, how I do my invoicing. I've never been one of those window cleaners who goes around collecting the money in the evening. I always feel that it's up to the customer to make the effort to come and pay you. So these are what I use for invoices. Kind of designed them myself, but I guess I used a template from somewhere. It's just got my logo across the top and my email address and my details there at the bottom, my social media and everything like that. So now I do quite a lot of writing on the invoice. I know some window cleaners that just use a pre-printed ticket or whatever, and they fill in the price, stick it through the door, and that's that. I like to do the writing because it kind of adds a personal touch to the customer that you've gone to that effort, and hopefully they feel more obligated to make the payment. Kind of builds that relationship a little bit. So I just put the first line of the address, which I use as my reference point really for the job, the job I've done, that I've cleaned the windows, the price, and please forward the payment. And then I leave it at that. I don't go back to the customer. What happens on my record sheet, if I come round to do the windows again, it will say customer owes in the final build column. So then I'll know to put on there that there's outstanding for the last clean, whatever month it was that it was cleaned, and then I'll put the price in there again, and then the total at the bottom for the two together. Now usually I find kind of the embarrassment factor with the customer, that they'll feel obligated to then make the payment for two. So what I feel that happens if you then chase payments, if you start hassling people for payments, is that some customers will get into that habit of waiting for you to hassle them before they then make the payment. So all you're really doing is increasing the workload for yourself. So I feel that really if you start doing that, it's just kind of a downward spiral of hassling people for payments, and it's always going to be that way. So by doing it this way, I'll leave it up to the customer, and then they eventually pay, and they'll get into that habit. They'll know eventually that when they get one of these through the door, they'll have to pay it, and they're more likely actually in the long run to start paying it straight away, so they don't then find themselves paying two at once later down the line. So I have a little unwritten rule, which I don't necessarily state this to the customer, but when a customer then owes for 3 months in a row, then I may just prompt them to make the payment before I clean it a fourth time. I won't clean it a fourth time unless I get the payment for those previous 3. That doesn't happen very often, but then I think the customer realises that I'm not going to keep coming if they don't keep up paying. So that's it at the end of the day. As your work grows and it builds up, you start to realise the ones that are persistent bad payers, and then, I mean, if you're busy, there's no need to do them, is there? If they're not going to pay, then you're not going to do the job, and that's how it is. So they're my invoices. On the back, I just also have a little note at the bottom about making payments. Some people still write cheques, so I just got a little note there to make the payment out to me, and to remember to sign the cheques, because that's a pain if they forget to sign a cheque. And if people want to make direct payments online, I don't do any card payments. I don't do anything that requires an additional expense. So all my customers pay, if they don't pay cash, I mean not so many people have cash these days. Cheques, I still accept cheques. They're getting less and less. It's a bit of a pain having to go to the bank with a cheque, but as long as people pay, then I'm happy to take a cheque. I'd probably go to the bank at once every couple of weeks nowadays. It's not worth it any more often than that. Most people now seem to prefer making payments online. They just make a direct payment, and then once they've done it the first time, as you probably know, the details will be saved there, and then they can make the payment each time, and that's really quick and easy. More and more people are going over to that now. So really, with those options, I don't feel that there's much of a need for card payments or anything like that. Most people are happy to do it that way. So yeah, also on the back of my invoices there, I just have a little prompt of other services that I also provide: pressure washing, gutter clearing, window cleaning, my website, is there at the top as well. So loads more about what I do is on my website. So that's a really great little prompt, just so people know that I do other services, and other services that I do are getting more and more popular. More and more of my customers are getting into that mindset that I don't just clean windows, I also do other cleaning services as well. So it's really good. There's plenty more information about what I do on my channel, my YouTube channel, so check out all the other videos there. I hope you found that helpful, and hope to see you again soon.